Hello, it's Nicko with Food Cravings, and today we're making Jiaozi, but you know them as wontons or pot stickers. Just like bread, dumplings arose independently in several cuisines. In all likelihood, they were just probably invented as a way to stretch a small amount of meat to feed more people. Dumplings are thought to have originated in the Eastern Han Dynasty over 1800 years ago. In China, there were several folk stories explaining the origin of Jiaozi and its name. They are a kind of Chinese dumpling commonly eaten in China and other parts of Southeast Asia. They are one of the major foods eaten during Chinese New Year and year-round, especially in northern provinces. When it comes to dumplings, as it turns out, there's more to them than meets the eye. An ancient Chinese physician by the name of Zhang Zhongxing actually invented dumplings. It is said that when Zhang Zhongxing took office at the age of 50 in Changshan as a government official, he always kept in mind his clinical practice and tried to help people wherever he could. He allocated 2 days every month, the 1st and 15th day, to see patients. After he retired, Zhang left Changsha and went back home. On the shore of the White River in his hometown, he saw many impoverished people suffering from starvation and frostbite. He built a shed on a vacant lot in Yangdongguan, then set up a cauldron and began handing out remedies to poor people at winter solstice. The name of Zhang's remedy is called cold dispelling dumpling soup. Upon drinking the soup, the patients were healed and their festered ears were cured. So Zhang Zhong kept handing out the soup until New Year's Eve. On New Year's Day, people celebrated not only the New Year, but also their recovered ears. They made dumplings in the shape of ears so as to commemorate the time when Zhang Zhongxing built the shed and treated patients. Zhang Zhongxing was not only an outstanding doctor of traditional Chinese medicine, he was also morally upright. He saved countless lives by carefully treating each patient regardless of their status. It's no wonder dumplings are a humble dish. So let's start spreading kindness by making dumplings. And we'll start with a few pounds of pork, as I have here, diced in half-inch cubes. Next, what we'll need is some bamboo shoots. And here I have some that are shredded, along with some shiitake mushrooms that I've conveniently soaked overnight, and some Napa cabbage, and you can find this at your Asian grocery store. We're also gonna need some spring onions. But wait, there's more. We're also gonna need some peeled and deveined shrimp, and we'll also need ginger and garlic. And we can't forget about one of the other key ingredients, our dumpling wrappers. And you can find these at any of your local Asian markets. Next, we'll need some coarse salt, as well as some light soy sauce. And who would have thought soy sauce could magically morph into cooking wine, which we'll also need. Once we have all our ingredients prepped, we'll simply transfer the pork into our food processor. And if you don't have one, you could just mince this all up by hand. Next, what we'll do is add in our ingredients. And here I decided to go with the ginger garlic first. Then we'll add in the chopped shiitake mushrooms. And as usual, I made it rain with some kosher salt. And right about this time, I thought of adding in some white pepper. Next, we'll prep some sugar. And what this will do is help counterbalance the flavors along with the vegetables and meat mixture. Now back to the processor, we'll go ahead and add the salt and white pepper along with the sugar, of course, and we'll give that a whirl. Check it out. See, what we're left with is a pasty mixture of pork and shrimp. And here what we're looking for is a smooth mixture that's spreadable. And get ready, because here come the shrimp. And here's a quick pro tip. You might want to wash your hands in between steps. As you build those flavor bombs, you'll want to do it with clean hands. As I just dumped in the bamboo shoots, and on a quest for a drizzle, I came back with some soy sauce. Next, I also drizzled in some sesame oil, and I set that aside to chop some, you guessed it, Napa cabbage. First vertically on the horizontal, and then horizontal on the vertical. And I added that to the bowl. And in between vegetables, you'll want to set your bowl aside. Here I set it aside so I can go in and dice some scallion. while listening to smooth jazz. And finally, I added that to the bowl. For this part, I chose to fold in the vegetables into the meat mixture using my trusty spatula and then went in by hand. Next, it was time to separate the yolks from the whites and give them a beating. A frothy one at that. Once we were done doing that, it was time to add that to the bowl and fold it in. But before that, I took a quick break, mainly to prep my fingers. After all, we were going to fold under and over and under and over and under and over and under and over again. And of course, you know what happens to my hand at these times. It gets tired. So after finishing folding the egg white, we'll add to that some cornstarch. And this time going with our hands again to get it all evenly incorporated. After all, the starch acts like a binder. Once evenly incorporated, the last thing left to do is put on some plastic wrap and refrigerate it for at least 4 to 5 hours or until the flavors have incorporated together. Best thing to do is leave it overnight. But since I worked on this early enough, I left mine for 4 to 5 hours only. And by this time, everything had marinated and incorporated itself evenly. And by now, since we're ready to make the dumplings, I took a spoonful and placed it right in the middle of one of the sheets and continued gently tapping the mixture down before starting to form my first dumpling. And here's a pro tip: you'll want to gently nudge down the mixture with your fingertips while using the thumb of your other finger to find the center point to pinch it, and it should look something like this. And with dumplings, I'll tell you one thing: the art of making them takes a lot of practice. I'm not even a pro at it yet. So you now know how to pinch tight half moons. The next thing I'll show you is the pleats. I made a few of them by folding an air pocket in between the front part and using our thumb, pinching the back part shut against the front. And you'll want to do everything in your power to seal these up real tight, because they will burst on you if you're not careful. And we don't want that. Check out how this one came out. And here, I'll show you how to make another one. So we take a spoonful of our filling and place it in the middle. And here I took some more filling because I decided that it wasn't enough before pinching all sides evenly. And you notice there's a little part overflowing, so you'll just pinch that off. It's no problem. And here some of it got stuck to my finger, so I was gently wiping it off before assembling another dumpling. So you'll take the middle, pinch it together on both sides like so, and while keeping that center closed, start by bringing both sides to the middle and folding them. That way you'll have pleats. See? And the same with the other side. As I bring them close, don't they resemble small purses? Which that's why they also eat dumplings, to bring good luck and good fortune. And something just came to me. I just remembered an old Chinese saying that the dumpling masters have: he who can make at least 13 pleats all the way around is a master. I guess I have 8, 6 to 8 to be exact. Am I almost there? Or what? And I was just thinking it might not work if you're superstitious. Wait a minute, I take that back. Maybe it's 11. And here, as you can see, I was raising an army yet again. By now I had worked on 3 different shapes: the half moons, or ears as they call them, the purses, and of course the gold ingots. Halfway through, my wife decided to help me finish faster. I guess couples that cook together stay together. And I'll show you how to make this shape too, because it came out really perfect. What you do is fold the dumpling in a half moon and then pinch it shut. After that, you bring in the 2 points and form a belt around it, and you're done. Here I was making some of the pleated ones again, and all I had left were these 2 corners real quick. So I pinched them together, like so. See? Not bad, huh? Well, I guess as the saying goes, practice makes perfect. And here you can see more of the ingots. After all, Chinese New Year is just around the corner, and these dumplings are looking gorgeous as ever. And I want you to know, there is no wrong way to eat these. You could have them 3 ways. Either boiled and then pan-fried for pot stickers, steamed, or just boiled. And I guarantee you, after you're done making these, it'll feel like quite an accomplishment. So since we are done folding them, why don't we pop them into the water and as these magically began appearing, I think they beat us to it. Either that or my psychic powers were at work again. Either way, by now we were really hungry and waiting for these to surface so we could go ahead and plate up. But first, I had to go ahead and give these a stir to make sure they don't stick together. I know. It would just suck if some of these stuck together, but mine didn't. So right about now, I went ahead and fished some out, cause after all, we're about to plate up. But first, a quick reminder to like and subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm doing. So finally, we were able to plate these up into a bowl. In regards to cooking time, these will cook up between 5 to 7 minutes on high or until they float to the top. And I'll talk more about this on the blog post. But for now, let's go in for a taste. Here I dumped it in the dipping sauce, swirled it around, and then took a bite. And can I just say, oh my god, the shrimp was so out of this world. On first bite, you get hit with that succulent pork, and then especially if you drizzle the dipping sauce over it, makes it taste even better. I couldn't wait. Here, I just decided to go in with a spoon, and secretly, I had snuck in a couple of ladles of chicken soup that I had made earlier that day, so you can guess where I was going with this. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my recipe for Jiaozi, wonton, dumplings, mandu, and then some. For ingredient amounts and more info, please visit www.chefnickostyle.blogspot.com. Bon appetit, thank you, enjoy, and see you in the next video recipe.